Flipped preaching video. My name's Andy.
My name's Gareth.
And we're going to have a look at a really tough passage from the book of Mark, a really great one. So it's Mark 8:27 to 38. So what struck you immediately from this passage?
We were talking before about how talking about the people who want to, or the passage that jumps out to me, those who want to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake and for the sake of the gospel will save it. That's quite a massive statement, isn't it?
Yeah, so tough, isn't it? Do you think it works in a sort of one-off way, like a conversion, like a deciding to follow Jesus? Or do you think it's an ongoing? We're always being called to.
Yeah, perhaps that to leave your old self behind, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think also, for me anyway, that it talks about having to continually evaluate your life.
Yeah.
And just see, perhaps we're taking on too many material possessions or things of the world that get in the way of following Jesus and staying true to the gospel, maybe.
Absolutely. A kind of phrase that's really keeps coming back to me again and again recently is that you can't take this with you. I think maybe from having this sort of the privilege of leading some funerals, you get really sort of, it's really clear that what matters and what doesn't actually, and it's not a lot of the stuff that we think it does, like our possessions and our job and our those sort of things. They're all necessary to some extent, but they're not really what
all the things that
you build life around.
Things that the world kind of tells us are important. Yeah, your life is so focused around all of that now, isn't it?
Yeah. I love I say I love, but I love it because it's challenging, but also it's so difficult, that idea of following Jesus, being a follower. You've got to, deny yourself, take up the cross and follow him, which implies moving and changing and not staying where you are. And it's good because God is trustworthy. And it's good to follow, but it's hard, isn't it?
It's hard to trust that it's hard to trust to give up those things that are so binding. And how far do you go with it as well? Do you sell up your house, give up your job, move away? That's very difficult. I find that a difficult one.
Yeah. I mean, personally, we've, in starting as a minister, it sounds like I'm, bigging myself up here, but we kind of did get rid of our house. I got rid of my job that I'd had for 20 years and worked really hard at, and we got rid of our friends. Might be some of you watching. Hello, friends from before, but we physically left and went to a different place. And it's fine. It's okay actually. It was a bit rocky to start with, but it's okay. Life does go on, and God is still the same.
But perhaps in our environment that we're in now, perhaps in our churches, we should be looking at how we can focus more on Jesus and doing his work in our community, and how we can be less focused on those things that almost bind us down. Perhaps that's a kind of safe halfway ground.
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily literally mean move to a different place, because there's a real strength in staying where you are and and being a consistent sort of voice where you are. So yeah, no, it's moving, being prepared to move sort of mentally, isn't it, and being flexible, I think, perhaps.
Yeah.
There's that sort of dynamite phrase, "Get behind me, Satan," where Jesus tells Peter as well, which is a really striking part about this passage, that he calls his the main one of the disciples Satan for wanting to take an easy way out. What do you make of that?
Well, Peter almost protecting Jesus, if we look back, sort of saying, Jesus is saying about how the Son of Man would undergo great suffering, be rejected by people, and Peter's saying, well, don't say that then, so you're not rejected or you're not cast aside.
Yeah.
Perhaps that maybe means for us today that sometimes we don't fit in with the status quo. We have to be different to fit into our to follow Jesus's ways. Is that what you say?
Yeah, I think so. It's for your benefit at home. I've got some Sylvanian families figures. So if that's Jesus, and I've got probably a Red Sea, but I've got a little sort of strip of card there. So if that's Jesus.
He's got a tail and everything.
He has, yeah. Did Jesus have a tail?
Who knows?
He kept it quiet if he did. He says to follow. So our place is to be behind wherever Jesus goes on this path. In verse 27, right at the start of this block, it says that they were talking on the way. He was talking to the disciples on the way, and the way was what Christianity used to be called before it was called Christianity. So it's not just an incidental word. So our job is to be on the way behind Jesus. But what seems to happen is that Peter seems to have gone another way and wanted to come up with an alternative route for Jesus that didn't involve suffering and death and betrayal and being rejected by the religious leaders. He wanted a kind of easy way out. And when Jesus says, "Get behind me," it means getting back on the way. I don't know, what do you reckon?
On track.
Is that too simplistic?
No.
Does that work for you? Or?
Yeah, I think that works. That works for me. I think it's very easy to follow Peter's idea, because we all cling on to that sense of security, a sense of safety, which it's hard to trust sometimes.
It is, yeah. And Peter's representing us. We've got these. We sort of fail, but we have to remember as well that Jesus, loves Peter, and in not too far future onwards, he makes him, sort of builds the church on him, so gives him the greatest responsibility.
Yeah.
And Jesus, Jesus before the crucifixion, kind of in that Gethsemane prayer, sort of toyed with the idea of taking a different way out, but in the end came back with that, "Your will
be done,
not mine," which is, again, what we need to do. It seems like Jesus didn't know what would happen almost, or what would be but he just trusted.
Yeah.
So we needed to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a really hard passage, isn't it?
There's lots in it.
If we want to keep our lives, we'll lose it. If we want to lose our lives, our lives will be saved. And I wonder if it works throughout this, all the passages for the next month seem to be about getting rid of stuff that's inhibiting our discipleship. So last time we were talking about traditions, how they can, although they can be very good, they can also be distractions. So this you know, this idea of taking an easy way out and for keeping things comfortable and safe and nice that's a temptation that we need to be aware of, and not choosing our own way, but going for God. Now, what that means for you, what you're going through at the moment, we don't know, but trusting in God, I guess it's down to, isn't it? It's trusting that God does know what's what.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's scary, and even though we surrender control and we surrender our own way, that's ultimately the way.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we done?
Yeah.
We're done. Right, thanks for watching. There'll be a space below if you want to comment or add in any ideas of your own, what you think this passage might mean for us today. So may you be someone who is able to let go of, hold your life lightly, so that you can follow Jesus and find your life. Good. Cheerio. Bye bye.
Bye bye.